My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Windows. In today's episode we are going to have a look on the trial opening or inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is Egypt's gift to the world. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us our dear guest, Mr. Salah Hidayat, the tourism expert.
Yes.
Good day to you, sir.
Yes, how are you doing? Good.
How are you? Now, this is a very good news, the trial inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. Actually, what the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, said that this is a trial opening, and we knew after this that there are some sections would not be officially opened except with the official opening. So give us an idea.
Okay, first, today, 16th of October, they opened the Grand Egyptian Museum, not the official opening, because now they opened another 4 galleries from the main hall of the museum. But still, we're just waiting for Tutankhamun hall, and then also the boat or the divine boats of the King Khufu. It will be opened also soon. So until that, there's just a trail regulation, but soon we hope all to open the museum for all the world to be an official opening.
Yes. So the trial opening is going to include 12 sessions, or 12 sections, I mean. 12 galleries are going to be opened, in addition to also the steps
Yep.
you know. So give us an idea, what are we going to see when a tourists go to the trial opening?
Okay, now they opened 4 galleries in 12 sections. Okay, so the main topics of the 4 galleries: one for King Senusert the first, have his 10-seated statue. It was open for not official open, but now it will be open. And also the other 3 galleries, it talk about the society, the reality, and the beliefs. For each gallery of them, they have more sections inside. So they're covering now the whole history of Egypt, from the pre-history
until the Roman era.
Yes, the Greco-Roman era.
Yes.
So with an average of 70,000 BC to 640 AD. We'll start by the pre-dynastic era and the prehistory era. Prehistory first started from 7,000 BC, 70,000 BC until year 5,500 BC. And then pre-dynastic period from 5,500 BC to 3,100 BC. It's called pre-dynastic period. And then we're following the Egyptian history until the Greco-Roman.
Yes.
The main topic first for the whole or the gallery of society. Now the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities going to open the Egyptian or the Grand Egyptian Museum in the modern ways for the scenarios or the ways to show our artifacts. We used
what is the meaning of modern ways?
Okay, usually in, like, for example, the Egyptian Museum in Cairo is the Tahrir Square, which opened at 1901. At this museum, they depend on the ancient way or the old way to show the statue of the kings and tell you the history of kings, and have some topics or some exceptions had a story together.
Yes.
But now they are showing the real civilization.
Yes.
And that's meaning by modern. For example, they collect a lot of artifacts, okay, to give you a brief about an idea or a topic.
Yes.
For example, the society. In Egypt here we had the first society in the world, the first evidence that the human person is turned to be a citizen. It was here in Egypt, and we talk about before year 5,500 BC. So we have to show or to see how these people developed their societies from people who lived in caves until they reach for the glory of Egyptian civilization. And also we had a lot of, we can say, critical situations happen in our history, like the first social revolution, the occupation of Hyksos, and then the era of the glory of Egypt, the Egyptian Empire. And then Egypt going for the third intimate period, when the priestess and the priestesses occupied the country and ruled Egypt. Then going for the late period, then occupied by Persians, and then again until the Greeks. And when the Greeks arrived, now we're showing another way in our society.
Yes.
How they could to trade with the foreigners.
Yes.
So now Egyptian society have Egyptians, they are locals, and we have Greeks, and then we have Romans. How these all three nations live in peace in Egypt? If we compare between the other colonies ruled by Romans, Egypt is the most peaceful country of them. Sure, we have some revolutions, but not actually wars or between like a civil war.
Yes.
And then when the Shiism started to spread in Egypt, and then the Christianity, then the Islam, how this country occupied all of them and carried all of them in the same time without any civil wars like we see around the world now.
Yes.
For around us in the Middle East, all Middle East countries now at least had one or two civil wars, but Egypt never have. Even we live 3 religions, 3 civilizations lived in the same country without any wars.
So introducing the story of the statue or of anything that is displayed in the Grand Egyptian Museum is now coping with the international standards and with the modern type.
Okay.
Isn't it? This is very important, and this, of course, would make the Grand Egyptian Museum different from any other museum in Egypt, away, of course, of the large number of pieces displayed in it. Okay.
The Grand Egyptian Museum is not just the biggest or the grandest museum in Egypt, but now it became all over the world.
Yes.
The space of the museum, it's 500,000 meters square. It's a huge space. To be the biggest museum or agricultural museum or archaeology or Egyptology museum all over the world. The museum also gave a new experience for anyone going to visit. So now the museum, we know the importance of museums to show the civilization and keep the heritage of Egypt. It's okay, but plus that they start to go for modernized the new technology we have. So they start now to can see some exceptions happen with hologram, also with AI, 3D graphics. Also the labels of the information, it's made in a very good way.
Yes.
So now also they gave some helps for people who have disability. So now they can have to listen or to have the Bible way. So they can also, for people who blind people, they can know how what these artifacts, they can see it, but they can feel it or can listen for the headphones for a guide to help them.
Yes.
Also going to have this 3D technology and AI inside the chambers, which make you going to feel the real show. For example, before 6 months we have an amazing exception of called Tutankhamun. It's used hologram and AI and 3D technology. And I went there, I find that every day the full booked, 100% full booked.
Of course, yes.
Foreigners, guests, also Egyptians going to see it because it's very high technology.
Mr. Hidayat, concerning the Tutankhamun, they say that the galleries of the Tutankhamun in the Grand Egyptian Museum is not going to be opened until the official opening.
Yes, because we are so happy to say that, of course, for maybe it be one
because
time.
It's the most precious, yes. King Tut is the Egyptian king that makes the world go crazy with him.
Exactly.
Yes, the world, and this is very clear when there was exhibitions touring, an exhibition held in London, in Paris, in also the United States of America, displaying the belongings of the Tutankhamun, and people were going crazy with the young Tut.
Yes.
The young king.
Yeah. Actually, they're not just getting crazy, getting mad.
Yes.
About Tutankhamun, the young pharaoh or the golden pharaoh,
yes.
as we call him.
Why is King Tut taking all this attraction from the Egyptians or love from the Egyptians and the foreigners?
Okay. First, the story of Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun was just a kid, 8 years old. He ascended the throne of Egypt in the most critical era in our history,
yes.
after his father Akhenaten and his religious revolution and religious revolution he had. Then he ruled Egypt and he died in the age of 18. But in just 10 years he ruled, he left behind him inside his tomb 5,393 artifacts.
Yes.
More than 3,200 of them made of gold or covered with gold.
Yes, and his tomb also, Mr. Hidayat, when it was discovered, it wasn't stolen.
The
All the pieces was
Exactly.
out there. Yes.
Exactly, because in ancient Egypt, in the late period and the third entertainment period, they used to the workers to open the tombs and stole what inside.
Steal from it.
Yes. So
But this didn't happen with King Tut.
yes, because his if you went to Valley of Kings, his tomb in the edge of the gulf or the gulf of the mountain. So when they
It
opened,
wasn't found.
exactly, they
Yes.
covered it with sand.
Yes.
You don't know this is a tomb.
Yes.
You don't know it. So when they opened it, it was the only tomb until now in Egypt discovered and full with artifacts. No one
So
touched it.
all the treasures of Tutankhamun, we are going to see
Gathering
it
again. Exactly.
We are going to see it, all the treasures inside the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Now the museum is ready to move to Tutankhamun because a lot of artifacts still in the Tahrir
Yes.
museum, and Egyptian museum is still there. But they are planning to, once they put an appointed date for the official opening, they will move to Tutankhamun from his mask and his coffin and his gold, his treasure, his necklace, everything, to move
Yes.
from the Tahrir Square museums to going to the Grand
The
Museum.
Grand Egyptian
It will
Museum.
be there. So for first time in history, since 1922, when Howard Carter discovered it, the old collection will be gathering again, and a lot of artifacts never seen before.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why people getting attention about this museum.
The young.
Because you know it's just happened one time in life.
Yes. 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 Mr. Hidayat, the analysts say if you go to the Grand Egyptian Museum and stand for 1 minute in front of any statues there, it would take you 1 month to tour the whole museum.
Yes.
Yes. So give us an idea about
Yeah,
this.
because we talk about the biggest museum in the
Is
world.
it true?
Exactly, yes. Because
Yes.
every single artifact there have a long story.
Yes.
I always say that for my guests, especially in Tahrir Square, to cover the whole museum you need a month. And
Yes.
also in the tourism guidance universities or factories in Egypt, to study the Tahrir Square Museum, you need 4 years to study all what inside the
Yes.
museum. And to explain to my guest, I need at least a month.
Yes.
Cover again, it takes the same idea in the Grand Museum now, the biggest museum. I think 1 month is not enough.
Not enough.
Not
Yes.
enough, because every single
So the
artifact-
program of the visit of any tourist coming to Egypt, if it has the Grand Egyptian Museum, it needs a special,
4 days.
a special visit for.
Exactly.
Yes.
And what that's what
So
I said.
by this we can say, Mr. Hidayat, that the Grand Egyptian Museum is changing the map of tourism in Egypt.
Of course. And also the state of Egypt take care of that. They now make a development project all over the area around the museum, and also now have a bridge to connect between the Egyptian Grand Museum and the pyramids area. So now it be more easy or more facilities for our guests to transfer from the museum and the pyramid to have the same tour. Because that's the museum far from the pyramids area for 2 kilometers, just 2,000 meters. That's it. So now we have it changed the map of the tourism for sure, because now in Egypt before maybe 4 or 5 years, just we have the Pyramid of Giza, Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and that's it.
Yes, but don't forget also, Mr. Hidayat, the discoveries in Saqqara. Also,
Exactly.
yes,
Yes, exactly.
it also
Sure, that's what gave attention. now.
attracted the
So-
whole world. Yes.
So now, people who we can say visit Egypt before, or known someone visit Egypt before, okay, we know the pyramids of Giza, some places like Saqqara, like Khan Khalili, Mu'ajj Street, that's all in Cairo.
Yes.
Okay, 2 days in Cairo is be enough. But now, at least to cover all of Cairo, you need 7 days.
Yes.
So now, people start to know more about Saqqara. And now people, especially I met a lot of guests coming from England and America and Australia, especially these 3 countries, and plus Germany for sure, and Japan. They're coming special for full day in Saqqara, from 8 a.m. in the morning until 4 p.m. afternoon. Just a full day just in Saqqara,
Yes.
trying to see everything.
Everything.
After a
yes.
lot of documentaries start showed up, and also if we visit the Namek, it's need a full day. The National Museum and see the old Cairo. The new inauguration of Egypt also for new museums the last 4 years. after Dr. Khalid Al-Anani started to put the map of the tourism in Egypt, because sure, Dr. Khalid Al-Anani, he was a tour guide already.
Yes.
So he know what attracted for guests. So we now start to find new requests, and several times I met guests visit Egypt before and come to visit it again.
Yes.
After the new discoveries in Saqqara, the new opening for the or reopen again the St. Cyrus and Bacchus and the Crypt Church, the Hanging Church. A lot of mosques was closed before. So we enrich a different pattern of tourism now in Egypt. It was unfortunately declined for the last years. For example, like the Holy Flight, to come to visit the churches where the Holy Family moved together there.
Yes.
Now we have the again opened like an Islamic tours for Shia, for Sunni, who coming to complete the pilgrim after they visit Saudi Arabia, come to visit all the holy mosques in Cairo.
Yes.
Then we have again now the culture tourism now start to enrich one more time after, and sure, dynamic. They already announcing that, Dr. Musamma Bouli announcing that the Grand Museum is already designed to host 5 million tourists per year.
Yes.
Yes, it's a huge number, by the way.
So I would like to ask you, Mr. Hidayat, you know that King Tutankhamun and the King Ramses II is two of the very famous kings in Egypt, and the whole world goes crazy with them. Actually, there was exhibitions that were made in Paris, in London, in the United States, and also for King Tut, and also in Australia, which was fully booked concerning the King Ramses. How would this, until the whole treasures came back to Egypt and would stay forever in the Grand Egyptian Museum? The importance of these exhibitions in advertising or marketing for the Grand Egyptian Museum and attracting tourists to Egypt.
Okay. This type of exception in outside, it's horrible for advertising or posting the Egyptian civilization, make people who will not be able to come to Egypt now, so you can have a brief or a show a part of Egypt is coming for your country. So nowadays we have an exception in Shanghai Museum in China. And one of my friends, a Chinese guide, he told me a lot of people coming after they saw the exception, encourage them more to come to Egypt. If they delay it for maybe next year, after 2 years, now it's the time to go to Egypt. Also, there's an exception before a year, it was for King Tutankhamun in America, in Metropolitan Museum. A lot of guests now encouraged to come to see. They're not able to visit the Metropolitan Museum, come to Egypt to see. Because you know, just show a part of his artifacts. What if I come to see everything? Also start to go, I want to see this mummy of this king. Where is his mummy? I told them in Luxor. Okay, they booked to go see the mummy and see the tomb in the Valley of Kings. Then, about King Ramses, is he's famous king, but for different...
He ruled for a long time.
Yes, 67 or 68 days. And he died in the age of 86 or 88. And some historians said 90. But it's totally different why these two kings special, they are so famous. First king, unfortunately King Ramses II, he was famous about wrong informations as they thought his Pharaoh of Exodus of Moses, or the Pharaoh of Moses. So after we make the x-rays and also test for his DNA test, we find he's not the Pharaoh of Moses, he wasn't him. Because we know that all mummies have to be in salt for 40 days. But the type of salt inside the body of King Ramses is the same salt like all kings. Totally different from the salt of Red Sea, according to Exodus story. Then, King Ramses, he was a really great king. I show him, maybe I can't call him the greatest Ramses or the greatest king of Egypt. The item of the kings of Egypt, or the icon of the kings. Because as his long term or his long rule for 67 years, Egypt was during his long era one of the most powerful countries in the world. If I give you an example for another king called Bibi II. Bibi II, he ruled Egypt for the longest reign all over the history. He ruled Egypt when he was 6 years old, and he reached for 100 years old. 94 years continuous, one king of Egypt. But when he getting more old, he start to lose his authority for the rulers of the province, or the ruler of the states of Egypt. Then once he died, social revolution started. But King Ramses, became an emperor and kept Egypt as an empire
Yes.
during his reign.
Yeah.
Then his achievements all over the country. I can go with anyone in Egypt, you'll find something for Ramses II. Statue, temple, shrine. For example, if you go to Alexandria, you will see statues for Ramses II.
Yes.
If you go to Abu Simbel,
You
the
will
farthest or the last or the end of the borders of Egypt or
Yes.
Sudan, find Abu Simbel
Yes.
temple there.
Mm.
And also he's we can say he's an icon for everyone because everyone looking for something, he finds that in King
Yes.
Ramses.
Mm.
If one of his attention or his caring about the architectural engineering, find Ramses II
Yes.
built the magnificent temple and also had one of the biggest statues for kings in Egypt. His statue in the Grand Museum
Yeah.
is 11 meters,
Yes.
made of one block.
Yes.
It's huge, about 84 tons,
Yes.
the weight of the statue.
Yeah.
For people who like the romance stories, find Ramses and his love story with his wife.
With his wife.
Nefertari.
Yes. Yeah.
Even he married more than 35 wives also,
Yeah.
and gave birth to more than 200 sons and children.
Yes.
But he still love her.
Yes.
And he,
Actually, we're going for a short break, and we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and we'll be back with our guest. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Continuing our discussion with our dear guest, Mr. Salah Hidayat, the tourism expert. Mr. Hidayat, we were speaking about King Ramses II, of course, one of the very important statues in the Grand Egyptian Museum. This brings us to a very important issue, which is transferring monuments to the Grand Egyptian Museum, or distributing and changing the places of some monuments, as what happened from the old Egyptian Museum in Tahrir, and transferring the mummies to the National Museum for Egyptian Civilization. Give us an idea about the importance of this.
okay, we can start from year 2007, when Dr. Zaha was the chief at the time for the Council of Antiquities, when they decided to move the statue of Ramses II from
Ramses,
Hadid
yes, the square of Ramses in
exactly.
yes, in downtown here in Cairo.
Exactly, to move to the Grand Museum.
Yes.
So now we're moving 83 tons or 83,000
Yes.
kilograms as a statue in the height of 11 meters to move from downtown to the new museum in Giza.
Yes.
And then they set the statue there and then continue building the museum.
The museum. Yeah.
Also, we have another experience, very amazing, the Golden Mummy Parade, when we moved the 22 mummies, royal mummies of 18 kings and 4 queens from the old museum to the Civilization Museum at April 2021.
Yes. Mm.
And we use this parade for posting and advertising Egypt now. It's safe after the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are ready to host more our tourists.
Yes.
Then we're now moving to Egypt, now planning to have an amazing parade again, to moving Tutankhamun artifacts from the Tahrir Square Museum to the Grand Museum in Giza, to be another parade,
yes, of course,
to be respectful for the king, like King Ramses II. So we talk about the most expensive artifact in the world. It's the mask of Tutankhamun. The weight of the King Tutankhamun, weight of the mask is 25 kilograms of pure
gold. Yes.
Pure gold. Was another very fine and jewelry stones. Plus that also we have like his coffin. The weight of the coffin is 110 kilograms of gold. So we talk about the very expensive and very wealth, and also the King Tutankhamun, he worth to have a parade like that to move his artifacts. So let's if we talk again about the Grand Museum and Ramses II, they according to the scenario of the museum there, they put King Ramses facing who entered the museum, like King Ramses II welcomed all our guests.
Yes.
And also for the facade of the museum, Grand Museum, they had the cartouches of the kings to save the name of kings of Egypt. And then we can see the 3 alabasters pyramids. So they choose the name of King Ramses cartouche. So as he did it before, before 3,200 years ago in his temple in Abu Simbel, when the sun
The sun illuminated
Exactly.
the face of King Ramses in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yes.
On the 22nd of October and
22nd
on the
of February.
22nd
February.
of February, which
Exactly.
is the coronation of the king and his birthday. Yes.
Exactly. So we repeat it again because I think it's normal because we are his grandsons. So we can do it one more time. And then for following the steps or the corridor or the gallery of the Egyptian artifacts, which also have all artifacts have same topic. For example, the beliefs and the divine and the house of eternity and the royalty. And then have the most beautiful view, the panorama view of the pyramids of Giza from the Grand Museum site.
Yes. Yes.
And if we talk about the museum itself, we're not just talking about a museum, we talk about the cultural project. So we had it's like a complex, cultural complex, not just an museum. That's why they deserve to be the biggest project or the grandest project, cultural project all over the world in the 21st century. So we have an cinema to have documentaries, movies, can carry until 500 person. We had a museum of child museum carried for 250, and also we have different halls for exceptions for in future if you want to make some exceptions, the conference halls, also Tutankhamun, the solar pot, which moved before 3 years from Giza beside the King Khufu pyramid until they reached to the Grand Museum as well.
Yes.
The Dr. Mustafa Waziri, who is the chief of this
Secretary General of
exactly. And then now the museum, I hope it's be ready now, so everyone can able to go there. And I know the analysis or the reports expected that 4 million guests will visit the museum in the first year. I believe it will be more than 4 million in the first year because all now my friends outside the tour guides so they ask me, okay, is ready to come? I told them, okay, just hold on until Tutankhamun and have the official open. It will be open for everyone.
Mr. Hidayat, also the location of the Grand Egyptian Museum being located in Giza and a little bit near to the pyramids of Giza. Give us an idea about this also and the renovation work that took place around the Grand Egyptian Museum, the streets, the bridges, everything around it.
Okay, even the state of Egypt, of the government of Cairo and Giza also, they start to renovate the whole way of the ring road and the tourism route to reach the Egyptian Grand Egyptian Museum. It's now make it unify the colors of the buildings, and also start to put some panels, have the photo of the statues and the name of the kings and the gods of ancient Egypt to be, we can say, show our respect and our ability to host like the official opening, because we are suspected that all the president, kings, emirs, sultans of the whole world coming to attend this official opening. So we have to be look like we deserve to have this project in Egypt, and our civilization also deserves that. So, and also to enrich the national spirit again and our spirit as Egyptians. So if we talk about, for example, a bus of students are moving on the way and see the photo of the kings and start to ask who is that, and we told them, they start to make people save them history more than anything. From my side, I hope they send this message for everyone. Every father and mother and parents in Egypt, they know our history to learn that for the new generation, because we don't know what happened in future after the attacks of the foreigners on our civilization, like Afrocentric, like socialism movement, as you said, our civilization. Also the people coming from north, south of Africa or the west side of Africa told that it's our real civilization, and they're just people who are more white color, not deep color skin. We cubed them or we conquered them and take their civilization and put our names. They are the real Egyptians. As we can say, Kemet is the old name of Egypt. I hope everyone know now who is Kemet and who is the kings of Kemet. And I hope soon they start to also study the hieroglyphic language in schools to make people know more about the history, to save it. So the idea, when you move from the ring road and keep seeing the king's statue, like Queen Hatshepsut, like King Tutankhamun, Ramses, Thutmose, Khufu, Khafra, Menkaure, the owner of the pyramid of Giza, sure it's a message for everyone. That's our real kings. That's our real history. When you saw them and then you know and reach the museum and know more about the history, I think it will be through a difference. And also the scenario of the museum showing that we are maintained the old way. We make an renovation for everything and development the area. We have gardens around, we have shopping center. It's also give new jobs offers.
Of course,
because
yes.
if I now
providing job opportunities,
Exactly.
of course.
Exactly. Now I have a new landscape, which enters all hotels around the museum.
Yes.
And start now some businessmen are going to start to build some new hotels to cube the numbers of the tourists that are suspected to come.
Yes.
So now in the enters area, enters the job applied. I have a new investment in Egypt just when I announcing that I am going to open the museum.
Yes.
Imagine what happened if she already opened the museum. Also the Anemic Museum, the National Civilization Museum and the Grand Egyptian Museum is so important to open in nowadays. Egypt had a lot of critical situation after the war against terrorism, and then we have the COVID-19, and then the war between Ukraine and Russia, and then the war in the Middle East.
Yes, several challenges,
Yes,
of course.
several challenges, and we have to show our Egypt safe for everyone to come.
Yes, Mr. Hidayat, we'd like to know concerning the building of the Grand Egyptian Museum. Is it built by only Egyptians or with the foreign experiences also? Give us an idea about the architecture of them.
Yes. When they start to announcing the 2002 Egypt, they are announcing you need to vote on ideas for the design of the building. We have several companies come to apply for give them ideas or some designs about the museum, and at least we're going for a French company. They bought the design, but now and then after the revolution, 2011, is a work there stopped, and then we have another war. So the work stopped for maybe 10 years, and then we continue again to continue building the museum by our force or our military force companies of the constructions. You continued the museum now. So the design, it's by a French company but built by Egyptians, and the Egyptian technology, Egyptian manufacturers, everything.
Yes. We are going also to a short break, and we'll be back with you, ladies and gentlemen. A short break, and we are going to continue our discussion with our dear guest, Mr. Salah Hidayat. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Continuing our discussion with our dear guest, Mr. Salah Hidayat, the tourism expert. Mr. Hidayat, of course, the Grand Egyptian Museum is a symbol of preserving heritage and preserving history in Egypt. But we cannot forget also the old Egyptian Museum in Tahrir. So also give us an idea about it and how it is also preserving heritage and history, in addition also to the National Museum for Egyptian Civilization.
Okay, I start from Dr. Kader Anani when announcing that during the Golden Mummy Parade, when he opened the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, announcing that why I gave my guest everything by one ticket. Now the mummies in the Anemic Museum. Now I have the Tutankhamun in the GM Grand Museum, and also I have the old history and all artifacts still there in the Tahrir Square Museum. So if I am just planning to have one day tour in Cairo, now I have 3 days to cover all three
Yes,
museums.
it's true.
Or we can say 2 days. If one day I visit the Egyptian Museum and the Grand Museum, and then have pyramid visit with the GM or the Grand Museum. So the artifacts in the Egyptian Museum, it's like our house for all Egyptologists, all tour guides. It's our house, Egyptian Museum. If Egypt built thousands and thousands of museums, it's still our house. It's the first museum in Africa. How can they be able to close it or lift it? Even the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square in downtown, itself now as a walls became a museum. It's opened at or built at 1897 and opened at 1901. More than 124 years. So as a building now, it became a UNESCO heritage site,
Yes.
global heritage site.
Yes.
So all artifacts kept there, nothing will be moved except Tutankhamun collections will be moved to the Egyptian or the Grand Egyptian Museum. And also we have now another treasure start to announcing, the treasure of Tanis. Tanis or Ramses, it's the capital of Egypt built by King Ramses II and still the capital of Egypt for more than I think 300 or 400 years. For all kings at that time, for the late period, they ruled Egypt from Tanis. So we have a lot of mummies, golden mummies. Even we have another treasure of King Bessonus the first, one of the kings of the 22nd dynasty. As maybe I think it's the only coffin made of silver. Silver coffin. We used to have gold, but to find silver, it's not usual.
Yes.
Even this king have a similar mask of Tutankhamun, by the way. So we still have something to show for people, also something already no one seen before. They are preparing now to move it to the same chamber or same hall of Tutankhamun after they move him. About how we can keep the heritage of Egypt. I like that the way they show our artifacts in the NIMC Museum or the National Civilization Museum, as they showing the real spirit of Egypt. Imagine with me in the same corridor, we have here the Bible and the Old Testament and the Quran there. We have a copy of the Kiswa of Al-Kaaba.
Yes.
One of the oldest copies of the Torah or the Old Testament cages. Also, in the same square hall, we have Egyptian civilization, Greek and Roman civilization, and Arab civilization or Islamic civilization. To show what the tolerance of Egypt, to show what the Egyptian can hold and carry everyone and have his own civilization. So you can see that what the effect of Egyptian civilization on the Greek statue,
Yes.
on the Roman statues, or the Roman art, or the Greek art. And anyone coming now will see another part of the heritage, or our modern heritage, or our folk heritage. Egypt as a location, it's between the ancient world, between Asia and Europe, Egypt in the middle. So, in every single province of Egypt, east, north, south, east, now in Egypt until now, they have every single area have its own taste. Like people in Alexandria have different phonetics. As we all speak Arabic or Egyptian Arabic, if you have to say, it's different from what the people speak in our Egypt, and like Luxor, Aswan, not Aswan because they have different own also
Yes, of course.
own language. But Luxor, Minya, Asyut, Suhak, different from the people in north, like Delta, different from people in west, in Siwa or Matruh, and then also north of Sinai or south of Sinai. From this phonetics changes also affected on them clothes, them appearance, them beverage, them food,
Traditions, everything.
everything. In the National Museum also showing that the difference between the 4 dresses of lady, it's very easy to catch it. Is a lady from Delta, lady from Upper Egypt, lady from Aswan, lady from north of Sinai, lady from Siwa, Oasis or Oasis. So to show this heritage or show this all folk of Egypt, it's very important for people because now about modernized make Egyptian maybe look similar.
Yes.
But to keep all this heritage, it's very important, even not for us, but for the new generation to know what the history of them appearance, how the ladies look like, how the men look like, what's the traditions, what's the kind of music, what's the kind of food. So that's why Egypt also one of the very enriched countries in the world about their questions, our beverage, our food, our kitchen. It's one of the very important kitchens in the world. Every single people now thought the important kitchens it's Ottomans or Turkish or Indians or European. No, here is the beginning.
Yes.
As Egypt started everything, Okay? We own that also.
Yes. Yes. I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Mr. Salah Hidayat, the tourism expert. I really had the pleasure to have this
Yes, thanks. The pleasure for me.
interview
Thank
with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program Windows. My name is Aman Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.